pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The prayer today, Father God, your word promises that you will guide me if I seek you. Show me how to order my time and arrange my schedule to accomplish your will. In Jesus' name, amen. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the minutes of the meeting February 20th, 25, and February 27th, 2025.
I'll make the motion to approve. And Christy, those included my revision. Okay, very good.
I second.
Commissioner Brackey.
Hi.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes.
And I just want to shout out to Christy for getting these up to date. Because when I was watching these meetings, these were like months behind, and now they're good to go. So we're just approving like the minutes right before, which I think is great.
Very nice. State your name, please.
Adrian Gordon from the Commissioner's Office. Thank you, because I don't ever remember that. I appreciate the reminder. I want to put like a little thing on the table up here and state your name and department. Yeah.
I'll keep reminding you what's your name.
Thank you. That helps. Thank you. Okay, so today's financials include an appropriations transfer to the Sheriff's Office for miscellaneous refunds, reimbursements, and web checks that were deposited into the general fund. There's a cash transfer from the sick and vacation accrual fund to the general fund to replace amounts paid by the general fund for retirement payouts of sick and vacation time over the last few years from the Sheriff's Office. Among the encumbrances is a then and now from the Board of DD to Fogel Steinzel Architects Incorporated for design work for the external addition of a staircase on House D, and from the Commissioner's Office to Kimberly A. Bioni for appointed counsel fees from 2023 that were not previously encumbered. There's travel encumbrances from the Common Police Court to attend the 2025 Ohio Court Reporters Association Annual Conference and the 2025 Ohio Digital Government Summit. There's a purchase order from Water Resources to Junction Auto Sales for a 2024 GMC Terrain all-wheel drive SUV replacement vehicle, which is replacing a 2019 Ford Fusion. They got an $11,000 trade-in allowance for that. They were having mechanical issues with the Fusion that they were having some trouble resolving, so they just decided to trade it in. Among the vouchers is $67,201.04 from the Sheriff to Motorola Solutions Incorporated for a 911 Eventide logging recording system, and $183,634.30 from the Sheriff's Office to Aviat US Incorporated for microwave tower upgrades, including new antennas and waveguide systems for the towers. And then finally, there's revenue certifications from the Commissioner's Office and the new County Agricultural Society Fund, and from the Board of Elections Special Election Fund for additional unbudgeted revenues to be received in 2025.
Do we know anything more about those microwave tower upgrades for the sheriff?
This was, they purchased all new radios too as part of an overall upgrade to the 800 megahertz system. The, I believe, I don't know if there's anyone.
No,
It's probably not fit out.
Yeah,
it was fit out. Okay.
It was fit out.
yeah.
That's good.
And it's part of, I think pretty much the technology that this was replacing was outdated and obsolete. So
Okay.
it's something that they kind of had to do and were planning for a few years now.
All right, very good. I'll make the motion to approve the financials.
Second.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Who's going to take item number 4?
Come up and.
Come on down.
Morning.
Good morning.
Kim Laurie, Probate Juvenile Court.
And your name?
Kim Laurie.
We're being filmed now, so everybody has to do that.
So I'm just here in case you have any questions. Our amendment is something that we do pretty much every year for this grant. The state's grant period is July 1st through June 30th. So as we move through the year, sometimes we see we want to add a program that wasn't already on there, or realign some funds. And so this one is the addition of a program called Pro Social Activities. This has been on our grant in previous years. So we're reintroducing it. It's $4,800. And then we're also adding a couple of vendors as well in the flip program. But that doesn't change the amount that the grant has for that particular program, because we noticed that there were some vendors already on the program that we weren't expending the funds that were budgeted. So there was extra kind of budgeted for those vendors. And so we were just able to add a couple more vendors.
I'll make a motion to approve number 4.
Second.
Commissioner Brinkley?
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Elaine Wall, Glampe Community and Economic Development. We have items number 5 and 6 on the agenda. Community and Economic Development is requesting the board grant permission to advertise for bids for 2 CDBG projects. The first one is the Chagrin Falls Park Community Center roof replacement, and the second one is the Maple Leaf Residence. We're doing 3 homes for them, and they're getting roof and window replacements. It'll be March 26th will be the bid opening, and it will be advertised March 6th and on the county website.
And where else is it advertised? It's the website, and where else?
And I believe we're going to do the Maple Leaf.
Okay. And then can you remind me, they have a match? These different organizations have a match, or are we?
They do not have a.
Okay, so we're covering the
If
full cost.
we cover the full cost.
Okay.
If we do go above, then they do have to.
Okay.
Furnish the funds for the.
Okay, very good. I'll make a motion to approve 5 and 6.
Second.
Commissioner Brinkley?
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Charles T. Ketch, Maintenance Department. I have item number 7 on the list. The Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute contract maintenance form number 1, increasing the agreement for professional design services with CT Consultants Incorporated for Dantis Architecture Incorporated for the Geauga County Courthouse Annex Building basement remodel for additional architectural and mechanical services related to the scope of the project in the amount of $5,650 for a new not to exceed amount of $41,650.
So I noticed in the services, there was an option to do the 3D modeling of the spaces. I assume
Yes.
you declined that.
We
Is that-
did decline.
Okay.
That, yes.
Very good. So I'll make a motion to approve 7.
Second.
Commissioner Brinkley?
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I was hoping you'd keep the hat on.
Matt Saraki, Maintenance. I have 8 and 9 today. So the first one is we're requesting the board approve and execute contract maintenance form number 1, increasing the service contract agreement with Cable Elevator Incorporated for additional services and repairs on elevators as needed in the amount of $35,000 for a new not to exceed amount of $50,000. And for that, we just added the courthouse to the service agreement, which increased it by, I believe, $400-ish a month. And then we had a few repairs come up that kind of depleted what we had as well.
Okay, you answered my question. I was gonna ask.
Okay, perfect.
You're anticipating my needs now. So I'll make a motion to approve 8.
Second.
Commissioner Brinkley?
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes. Thank you. And number 9, we're requesting the board approve and execute contract maintenance form number 1, increasing the service contract agreement with Countywide Replacement Windows Incorporated for additional window projects as needed in the amount of $20,000 for a new not to exceed amount of $50,000. And for this, we are looking at replacing the windows in the bell tower at the fairgrounds, and that is a lot more extensive than I had originally anticipated.
Okay.
So that's why we're increasing it by that much. We also have a couple other smaller projects on the radar that we're looking to do as well.
Why was it more extensive? Do I want to know?
Believe it or not, it's really hard to get windows up in the tower part.
Yeah.
We got to get a lift, or we've
Yeah.
got to do some really sketchy scaffolding on the inside to do that part. So that kind of increased.
Did you do the
cost.
lift, not the sketchy scaffolding?
We might have to do both.
Okay.
It's kind
You
of,
might,
yeah,
'cause it's pretty tight up there.
yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
so.
But
down
Countywide
there?
Windows says they have a very small technician that they could send up in there. So,
There are child labor.
I was gonna say that, no children, it's a
Right.
4-H kid.
I scarcely think every year when they have to climb up in there to open them.
mhm.
I looked up there extensively during the 200th anniversary of the fair with the governor while we were ringing the bell. So that's what
I was hoping for a better story than
That's-
that. Maybe next
throw the
time.
governor in there. I thought it would be okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve number 9.
Second,
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nick Goris, Water Resources. Item 10 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Bill Conti Plumbing LLC to perform plumbing services at various locations within the department for a period of 1 year in an amount not to exceed $2,500. Mostly with Bill, we use him to test all of our backflow devices. We require everybody else to test theirs annually, so we do ours also.
Plumbing costs are getting high, right? Those hourly rates. I'm like, there are attorneys that charge less than that.
Yeah, but he does a great job for us, so on call can come whenever, because some of our facilities, when we test it,
Yeah.
we want to make sure it's early hours or whatnot.
Right.
So he's been very open with us, so.
Okay, very good. I'll make a motion to approve 10.
Second,
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the request for partial payment number 17 for Infinity Construction Company Incorporated for the Geauga County Courthouse expansion, GMP Phase Number 1 and Phase Number 2 expenses in the amount of $799,702.55.
And Linda, could you talk a little bit about what we discussed this morning? I had a question of like, who's watching out for the county in this? Because I mean, I look at the invoices and they look fine, but it's hard to evaluate what actually occurred. And these are huge bills. So could you talk a little bit about that process of approval?
Sure. There's actually a couple of different agencies that we have in place to watch our interests. Number one, of course, is our owner's rep, which is NV5. And they're kind of like the liaison between us and the contractor. There's also me. I've been going to the meetings weekly. Glenn walks the buildings weekly with the construction manager. And I have sometimes Commissioner DeWort goes with them on that walk. And of course, there's Nick doing our prevailing wage. So there's all kinds of eyes on this besides just what we get from the contractor.
Okay. I'll make the motion to approve 11.
Second,
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
yes. I recommend that Commissioner Brackey meet face to face with Brandon from the NV5 for, any other questions or any more insight.
Or
about
Jarrett,
this.
because Jarrett's been actually doing more than Brandon lately.
Okay,
The regular meetings are Thursday afternoons at 2:30 at the,
Okay.
in their construction trailer. If you ever want to go, of course, you're welcome.
Do you usually go to those, Commissioner?
I did at the beginning and after the steel was erected, it was under control. So Jerry attended the meetings. But I was going like once a month, but it's every Thursday at 2:30.
Correct. And then
But I do go to
Glenn's walkthroughs are Tuesday afternoon at 1:30.
1 o'clock
Oh, but sorry.
because it doesn't fit the court cases.
Okay.
1:30 doesn't work with the court cases. So we
Okay.
meet at
Okay.
1 o'clock.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to that.
I'm sure they'd be delighted to walk you around and show you how.
Would they? I'm gonna
No,
be
no.
scrutinizing everything.
Well, okay, that's the best for everybody.
Yes.
Item number 12. Commissioners officer requesting the board move an executive session for the purposes of considering the purchase of property for public purpose. If premature disclosure information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personnel, private interest is adverse to this general public interest pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22. That's not going to executive session.
G2.
Correct.
Get it. I'll make the motion to move into executive.
Second.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
I can walk over and see if Commissioner Spitaleri can join us.
That'd be
Would you like to?
good. Yes.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Not surprised, right?
Christie, we're going to have two motions.
But thank you. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Here's the last bit. Very much appreciate it.
All right.
All right, I have you returning at 10:18.
The first motion will be that the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board to authorize the President of the Board to finalize negotiations for the purchase of a property being considered for expansion of county services.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Spiller.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
The second motion is Commissioner's Office is requesting the board authorize Commissioner Spitaleri and the County Administrator to begin negotiations on a potential property being considered for expansion of county services.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Spiller.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Now we have to go into another executive session.
Is there a motion on the floor for executive session?
I'll make that motion.
This is to discuss the employment and compensation of a public employee.
Second.
Commissioner Spiller.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Kathy's going in with you too. She was here. We'll invite her. We'll get her in there.
Thank you. A number of different things. And I did drill down on that. These are things that I think came up over the course of the last year involving changes to millwork, cabinetry, countertops, and then quite a bit of electrical. And I actually got back with NV5 about what that was specifically. And it had to do with having to add data and power drops for additional printers. It had to do with quite a bit that had to be done in order to have secure access to that parking area. It's a big gate. They had to trench and run conduit and stuff like that in order to have that gate into that back parking area secure. So that's part of that as well. Some intercom systems, a couple of new extra podiums. So this is just a bunch of different stuff all kind of lumped into one. That's the number 16, change order number 16. Change order number 17, you'll recall a few weeks ago, I brought to you that the sheriff was asking for a change order for a silent alarm system at $200,000. And then he went back and took a second look and chose a less expensive option. And that's what this $7,700 is. Instead of the original proposed system, 7,000, did I not say?
I think you said 700.
Yeah,
That's enough.
$7,700
It's a hard house.
is what I said. $7,700.
It sounded like 7.
Yes, much better than 200. And it's actually going to be a system similar to what the maintenance department is having installed in this building, where there will be pre-recorded messages selected by a deputy at the desk to alert the building, utilizing the fire alarm system that's already spec'd in the building. So thank you to the sheriff for finding a much less expensive option. That's what the second one is. So I'm just asking, are these change orders that we can approve so that they can get us the proper paperwork?
So I mean, to me, the silent alarm seems okay, but this like 50K lump, I just have a harder time evaluating it, but this data drop, I don't think I understand what this is for.
Do you care to jump in, Frank, since we kind of talked about some of this stuff yesterday?
Was that part of the discussion? I don't remember the extra data.
I know that last year there were a number of data drops additional that were approved in July. I don't know if that came from you guys or if that came from Port IT.
That would be Court IT.
Okay, it wouldn't surprise me if this is the same. Additional access to data for printers is some of it. And additional electric, like, there's a breakdown here of what it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. I personally have a hard time evaluating all of this, and these change orders really add up.
If you want to wait on this one, I can ask for our representative from NV5 to be here next week to explain it further. I have an email that he sent me a couple of weeks ago where he said, millwork revisions, 2 additional courtroom podiums, providing and installing monitor brackets, intercom systems for the 2nd and 3rd floor interview rooms, TV data drops and electrical power revisions, exterior gate conduit for the card reader and intercom at the entrance to the security parking, wall revisions at the security desk. All of those are included in this lump sum.
But I have a hard time understanding like why these things weren't included in the original design. Like why weren't there television mounts already in the design?
It may have been that additional televisions were requested after the design was done.
Okay.
I wasn't there then. I wasn't attending these meetings at that time. Because some of these go back to July.
I like how there's a roll of duct tape on for $22.95.
I actually called that out when I talked to him today. I'm like, dude, $22 for a roll of duct tape?
What a ripoff.
Yeah.
Where are they shopping?
Not Home Depot, I guess.
At one of our fine local hardware stores in Geauga County.
But there was trenching and backfilling that had to be done to put the conduit to the controls for that exterior gate for the intercom and the key access.
Well, and there's like this cabinetry. It says add solid surface countertop in lieu of plastic laminate. Like what are they upgrading to? Is this
Solid surface.
like marble instead of plastic?
I
You know what I
have
mean?
a specific answer to that. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be in something like quartz. I can ask. But
I just feel like this project's already, what, $20 million project? And then we're getting these change orders and these really, I mean, they really add up. Like not to keep belaboring the point, but I just think we should be paying a lot of scrutiny to the change orders.
well, and we are, because the original change order for this electrical and data stuff was
Yeah.
twice as much. And NV5 and Infinity went back to the contractor and they went through it line by line and took out duplicates and all kinds of things and really got it down quite a bit from what the original thing was. I do feel they are watching for our interests, but if something gets requested by us, then that becomes a change order.
We're requesting these things?
I'm assuming, I mean, if the courthouse asked for an upgrade on the counters, that's us.
But, it's the judge.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
The
saying.
judges
You're right,
Us,
yeah.
by us, I mean the county.
But that's not us. We're the people that gotta say no. So I don't know how you gentlemen feel, but I personally feel like I don't have enough information to vote on this 16.
I agree.
Just for clarification too, what you're looking at is change orders number 16 and 17 are in front of you. But we've actually only done 4 actual change orders on the project. So like they are labeling them as 16 and 17. I just want you to like not be like panicked.
No, I understand.
Okay, it's like how people label their checks and their checkbook.
So
Yeah.
it's like, so things that have like maybe have like come from Infinity have not necessarily been improved or So we've only had 4.
4, okay.
So
Well, and can we have court IT come before us and explain some of these charges that they want?
We could certainly ask that, and I would think NV5 also.
Yes.
I do think that we need to remain very respectful of the court and not be, get over here and explain yourselves, but respectfully request them to come and explain exactly what this is about.
Yeah, but I mean, I think what's concerning is like, once we did a little digging on a shower request, that was kind of an absurd request. And so I just wonder what else is in these change orders that's a similar line of thinking of, oh, well, every once in a while, an employee doesn't have power, and so they need a shower. Like, what else is in here that fits along that sort of line of reasoning and isn't looking out for the best interests of the taxpayers?
Okay, I can certainly make that request and see if they'll come next week, and I can also ask our representative from NV5 to also come.
So I'll make a motion to approve change order request number 17.
So moved.
Let's see, let's label this as infinity change order 17,
Okay.
because it's not actually the true change order. That actually has to be certified and come before you for an actual signature.
They do an AIA form
Yeah.
and bring it back.
And that was for the alarm system.
That was for the alarm system, yes.
Okay. Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
That is all I have for discussion today.
So before we move into public comment, I just wanted to talk about the airport a little bit. I had the opportunity to sit down with some representatives of the airport. I asked them for some documents, some of which they've provided. And so I just wanted to, have a little bit of a conversation about that. Because the more I've looked into this, like, my conclusion is giving this $1.33 million to the airport to fund the new hangar and some other projects. To me, it seems like an irresponsible use of taxpayer money. So, I mean, certainly you commissioners, you understand this, but for folks that may not, there is an agreement between the airport authority and the Board of County Commissioners. And one part of that agreement is that the airport authority has to maintain its facilities. And then in turn, the commissioners, we own the land, we own the buildings. But according to, my pretty frank conversations with the airport, they're telling me that some of these hangars are in such poor condition that they can't charge market rent. But, they haven't this affirmative obligation to maintain these hangars. And to me, there's really no excuse for them to be in such a state of disrepair. So then, another point is something that I think former Commissioner Lennon brought up in the fall, which is if we have this 32-person wait list for hangar space, that tells me like the market's not functioning, because when you have high demand, you should higher your prices. You shouldn't have government subsidies as a result. So instead of asking taxpayers to fund this new construction, the airport should really adjust its rental rates to reflect demand, which is the same thing that any self-sustaining enterprise would do. And then I guess my third point is that, to me, this deal really makes no financial sense for taxpayers, because the airport, they keep all their rental rate, they keep all their fuel revenue, they keep any, fly-in fees or whatever, all the revenue coming into the airport authority keeps this. And right now it seems like the county is just footing all the bills. So there's no return for taxpayers funding like any sort of airport expansion. It's just some like abstract and fallacious appeal to like economic development. And I guess, my fourth and final point is just, we're being told we have to like rush into this deal because of FAA grant dollars, but there's, this looming deadline. It's, in my opinion, no excuse for bad spending, wasting $1.33 million of taxpayer money just to secure, $500,000-ish. That's not a good deal. And it's reckless. Like, I don't think this money is economic development. I think it's a government handout. I'm personally not going to support it. I'd certainly urge my fellow commissioners to do the same. And I'd invite like public scrutiny on this deal, because frankly, I feel like the public, the media, stakeholders, like, really haven't given it the scrutiny it deserves at this point.
Thank you for that. Now we'll go into public comment.
South Russell Village, when's the airport problem gonna get resolved? It has to get resolved fairly soon, or you're gonna lose all that money.
We're still waiting from the prosecutor's office, the review of the agreement.
You daily deal with the prosecutor's office? Do you send them emails, or how do you stay in touch with them?
I email regularly,
How regular? Daily?
about once a week.
What do they say back?
You will have something very soon, is what I've been told for the last 2
When
weeks.
is very soon?
Clearly not yet.
What are the commissioners gonna do about dealing with the prosecutor? Do you have any contact at all with him? Do
Yes,
you email him?
I do.
Good. What do they say to you?
They're responsive to me in my inquiries.
When are they gonna get this resolved?
I don't know. I mean, Linda's been handling that
What
particular
happens
issue.
if we lose all that money?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't be losing all that money. You'd be losing 500-ish thousand.
That's a lot.
But then the taxpayers would be saving
How
1.33
can they
million.
be saving money?
Well, because we wouldn't be dumping the money into a hangar that the average taxpayer in Geauga County doesn't use.
This is very vague and it needs to be resolved quickly.
What do you think is vague?
This, what you're saying to me. Maybe the newspapers here can figure out what's going on. I certainly don't know what's going on. Have you ever flown into an airport privately, put your own gas in your own airplane?
I am not at that tax bracket.
I'm not either anymore. But that airport is a very important part of Geauga County, and it should be maintained correctly, and the people that run it are doing a damn good job. Enough said. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment?
You said,
State your name, please, and
right.
go on. Please,
Anastasia Nicholas, I'm a reporter, Chagrin Valley Times. Commissioner Brady, you said abstract and fallacious appeal to economic development. Can you kind of explain what you mean by that and kind of temper that with past comments about the airport and its economic?
Yeah, I mean, that's like the argument when I ask, like, how does the airport benefit the average Geauga County student or average Geauga County resident? The response I'm always given is economic development. And then I'm like, well, flush that out. And I don't get a solid answer that makes any sense to me.
I'm wondering if you could speak to that.
Yeah, what's your question?
Could you speak about the economic impact of the airport and all the good it does for the county?
Yeah, it does. I think there's a multitude of things that go along with this airport. And I think that part of the situation is that the board that the airport has had throughout the years, in the earlier days, even when I became commissioner, there was pretty much a common understanding that they were not going to get but scraps for dollars, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to run that operation. And it was pretty much made very clear to them that that's what they were going to be receiving, and it wasn't going to go further than that. I can tell you that that's not the case. And in a situation where we have failed that airport and we have failed the business community tremendously by not investing earlier on when all these other airports have grown and have developed for their business structures. I think that if you would bring in some of the business owners in some of the communities that have some of the businesses, and you would see some of the commercial traffic that does fly in for meetings that create jobs for our local residents based on these deals that are negotiated for products that they're purchasing, doing all kinds of stuff. That's the stuff that we're totally not seeing, and we're putting our blinders on of what the potential is for that airport to continue to grow and develop, that area. Mittelfield's a very industrial area. They're continuing to grow. They're putting, I believe it's either the second or third largest largest structure of a single-story structure in the United States, right at the corner of 528 and 87 right now. And those people, those opportunities require and breed support of a good airport, because it's that big building is not to support just local Geauga County. That building is going to be something that's going to be nationwide. So the more that you have the ability of bringing those people in, it's a number that we can never really put our finger on and say it brought us this much money. Because if you spend some time down at the airport, you'll see a jet fly in, they get picked up, there's a car waiting for them, 2 or 3 people get out, they go for their business meeting, they create their business, whatever that may be, and they come back and off they go again. And this is a common practice with a lot of these companies. So my whole thought of this airport is that, we have failed in the earlier years to support the airport, and we're playing catch up. And I look at, if you took what we're giving the airport and you take what we've paid in legal fees of lawsuits that have gone nowhere in this county, we could pretty much have an incredible amount of dollars that we could have put to airport and other infrastructures within our county. But yet, this here, is a situation that it may not affect every single resident in this county. I understand that. Some people like baseball, some people like football, some people like flying. But what it does for the community and what it does for the business community is huge. And to be able to just offer that ability is very much, we need to look at setting this airport up so that commissioners down, years from now are not having to worry about doing what we're basically doing because it was taken care of. And I think that's one of the biggest things that they have proven over the last investment that they did in that hangar, that it was sold out before they even built it. If they move forward on this hangar here, it's sold out before they even build it. And sure, we could continue to raise prices, but our prices are in check with everybody else's, and actually a little bit more than what they're getting in different areas. But what they like about this is that a lot of the residents of this county that also own those aircrafts live in this county. And instead of them trying to drive down to Lake or Ashtabula or Portage County, they're right in their own home county and spending their money in our county. And it's a situation that I think that we've done an incredible, step to the positive with the airport. They've rendered it so much safer with the lighting project that they just did. They're with the parallel taxiway, incredible amount of safety that's going to endure for pilots coming in and the passengers on those aircrafts. If they could get to the point of doing the expansion for a little bit of longer runway to 4,000 feet, we will just absolutely totally exceed the threshold now of what other business community then will start to operate in that airport even more than they are now. So it's a situation that I don't have skin in the game, in the sense I don't have a hangar there. I don't buy my fuel there. I go to the pancake breakfast there to support the airport. So for me, there's nothing there other than knowing enough in my background of the success that a good airport will make for a county.
But just to clarify, I mean, it's primarily a hobbyist airport at this point. I mean, when I met with the airport board, I asked them, like, how often do you have CEOs coming in this airport? And they're like, never. Like, we're a hobbyist.
Well, I don't know who said that, because that's not true. I can tell you that I know 3 companies that they have fly-ins of executives from other branches of their businesses that do come to that airport, if not weekly, possibly bi-weekly. So, I mean, and I think too, the other thing is that, there's a study that's done by ODO, Department of Transportation, and the FAA of what kind of revenue that the different airports bring to a community. And if you would see the numbers that they have Geauga County Airport rated at, it's staggering to see those numbers of what it actually does for the county. So,
I mean, I have read the study. I did not personally find it persuasive. I mean, when you have an airplane from another community that flies into Geauga, they pay a $7 fly-in fee if there's somebody there to collect the money. That's the revenue. And then hopefully they buy their fuel there. So like, to me, those are like tangible benefits that I can see of like how their airport generates revenue. But as far as like this like economic development, like to me, these arguments that I've heard are just not persuasive. I mean, they seem like good arguments to make that kind of go over people's heads and they're like, oh, that makes sense to me. But to me, like they just don't logically follow.
you know, and I think that part of it too is that, you know, what we have been contending with is on these, the hangar project that they would be intending to do would actually hold some larger planes, you know, so yeah, if you're talking about small Cessna airplanes and stuff that are privately owned, yeah, I understand that. But at the same time, if we have the ability of having larger planes and being able to do that, it's going to attract those other customers.
But right now the runway is limited, right? And I mean, there's only so much that the runway can expand because of where the roads are.
Right.
So we're never going to be able to get like big jets coming into Geauga County.
Well, the threshold would be that 4,000 feet, and they've already had some conversations with the property owners at the east end, and
Oh, except like buy additional property to expand it. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I mean, where the property is currently, I mean, there's not that much they can really do to expand
right.
their runway. And if they can't expand the runway, they can't put bigger planes in.
Right, but that's, you know, and that was their 5-year plan is, and, you know, their plan is that would be something that, you know, would be totally, would be a game changer for that airport, but it's like anything else, you gotta walk before you run, and we've done a lot of walking, and it's going pretty well. We just need to continue to give them the support that they need. And as far as their, you know, their property or their hangars that are not up to speed, they're old wooden hangars that they basically, if you remember, we had that with the snow load, that they put emergency dollars in those to basically re-strengthen all of the roofs and everything else. So it's just a cold storage, you know, hangar that's not unsafe to put your airplane up there, but it's not a hangar that you would consider prime. But those are paid for, and they're receiving revenue on those every month, and it fulfills the part of that hobbyist that's possibly just getting into aviation, or the students that come in there for lessons and stuff like that, that we at least have some options for people that if they can't afford the, you know, $600, you know, hangar, they might be able to afford the $300. But once again, as fast as they're available, they're taken, you know, so.
Right, which is why they need to raise the rents, because the market's not in equilibrium. And so what we are doing right now is subsidizing hangar space, because the airport is not, I mean, if you have 32 people on a waiting list, that tells me that supply and demand are out of whack, and the market is not in equilibrium.
I understand that. And I think that as a service to what they're basically trying to do is base it on a norm, because we're not the only ones that are having this problem. You know, a lot of these other smaller airports around us are having the same.
Of what, a waiting list?
Mm-hmm.
Then they all need to raise their rates. I mean, when I brought this up to the airport board, you know what their comment was? They said, oh, we raised them a little bit and we lost 2 people. And my response to that is good. You should be losing to like more people, because you've got a waiting list of 32 people. And the way, you know, if you raise the rates, like we shouldn't be subsidizing somebody's hobby. And like this idea of like welfare for, you know, airplane owners is like absolutely absurd to me. Like we've got people in our county that are like struggling to pay their property taxes.
I get it. And listen, I respect your view on it, but it's 2 different thoughts of trains of thinking, and I see it one way, you see it another way.
No,
I just, you know, I see it in the sense that I've truly seen the value of what that airport has done to the community. I have a business in Middlefield, and I've talked to a lot of the business owners in Middlefield. I've talked to business owners in Burton that actually have planes that come in there fairly frequently to have their meetings. I think that one of the things that we're truly missing, and I would definitely recommend you take a couple of, you know, road trips to go and see some of these, is that the facility that we have is so outdated and so antiquated compared to other airports that have really nice facility for meetings.
I mean, I actually did, I went
Yeah.
to see the Portage County Airport, but, you know, ultimately, to me, like, the people that benefit from the airport are the ones that should be paying for the airport. And the people that benefit from the airport are not the average Geauga County resident. And so they shouldn't be paying for it. The people that benefit from it, the people that, you know, want to fly in or have the hobby, like, they're the ones that should be paying for the airport, not our tax dollars.
Yeah, but it's a county airport, you know, it's our airport and we should maintain it. You know, you know, and I mean.
Well, per the agreement, actually, the airport authority should be maintaining.
Right, but they
the
have,
airport.
but they're not a funding source as far as general dollars to be able to do it. It's whatever they can.
But that's what the
raise.
agreement says. The agreement says they need to be maintaining these buildings, and they're not doing that.
And I understand, but I don't think that they can, I mean, they're maintaining them to a big degree. I think if you spoke to any of the hangar owners down there, they're satisfied with knowing what is being done by the board. They're not sitting on their hands and doing nothing. And I can tell you, over the last 5 to 7 years, it's just nothing but positive stuff has happened there. But
No, I mean, I heard a lot about, like, the community that's been built around the pilots and, you know, the things they're doing for the community. And like I said, I think that's all great. I mean, I think it can be a great asset for the county, but, like, taxpayers, at the end of the day, like, taxpayers just shouldn't be subsidizing that.
I could understand your thinking on that, but I also think that, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, that airport also does it, as far as, you know, putting dollars in it, of what, you know, the potential for growth of kids and involving kids to be able to also take on an interest of aviation. I think that's a big thing, having a local airport that's done well. I mean, I'll stop in there sometimes and see kids up at the, you know,
Yeah.
at the hangars with the aviation group that they have, their experimental aviation group, and they're going through the whole dynamics of aviation, the dynamics of flight, and the different stuff that's really kind of able to do that. And these are our future. These are the kids are our future, and they're not exposed to that. What else is there that, you know, that I guess you could say for the price of what we're doing, that's going to ultimately add value to what our long-term is with that airport? Sure, it's not an easy thing. I mean, pay now or triple pay later. Well, we're triple paying right now because they should have probably done this 25 years ago when it was cheaper to build and everything else. But like I said, I can tell you, when I came in here as a new commissioner, I was told, do not get your hopes up because we are not going to support the airport. So you would have fit in great 13 years ago. But I'm just telling you, today, there's a value, and nobody's going to convince me otherwise. Like I said, I have nothing personal other than knowing personally the good things that have come out of that airport, and what the future holds with it is huge.
Well, one just, like, side note, you talked about their 5-year plan. There is no business plan. There is no strategic plan for the airport. I asked for it.
Right.
They have nothing. So, I mean, their hope
It would only
is,
be construction. Is their 5-year plan under the FAA? They have to have a 5-year plan that's based on construction and improvements. And one of the things that we were able to fortunately do was the lights and the parallel taxiway. And that was within this 5-year plan. And now what they'll do is Baker Industries, who's their representative, then in order for them to continue to be in compliance with the FAA, they have to always have this updated 5-year plan. So as things are done, they move forward then to say, here's the other things of what we would look to do. So, you know, it's not like a a business plan in the sense of like economics as much as it is of what the dynamics are of what the FAA requirements are for the runways and safety features.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a numbers
Right.
person, and like, I was like, show me numbers. Like, because their argument is, oh, we build this hangar, we can rent out the space, and then we'll have revenue to fix up our other buildings. And I'm like, well, make me like a numbers business case. And I didn't get anything in response to that. Like,
Right. And I think that what their ask is probably, what their ask probably should have been twice as much as what they're asking for to really be able to do it right altogether. But they're great people that are there as volunteers, that are some very, very intelligent minds that are on that board that have a good, good business background, good solid positioning of what the future is going to be for us. And they've been very cautious too, with that airport of not overstepping and asking for more than what they've been taking these baby steps, and sometimes, if they would have been a little more aggressive years ago, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation because it would be on the road to success. But what I could assure you is this: if we made this decision, and I'm hopeful that we're going to have at least another vote with mine to get this pushed through, to get them these dollars, that in years to come, this airport, I promise you, will be in a much, much better position.
well, I'd love to see numbers to see, like, I've heard a lot of emotional arguments about like what it means to people and how it helps the kids and, all these things, but I haven't like seen any facts and figures that convince me that this is a good thing for Geauga County. So until I see that,
Okay.
I'm not going to subsidize this project.
Can I ask a question for clarification? Have you been told that if they do not receive the $1 million, that they will lose the FAA money?
I mean, I don't think they can build the hangar for that amount of money for, the 500, and I don't think they have the money to do it. So,
But they don't have to build a hangar. They can do other things with that money.
well, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps it was presented to me as they build the hangar and then use that 500 to help build the hangar. But I mean, your point may be well taken.
Just, I know there's other things, the cleaning up of the spaces and making the pilot lounge better and the office space better and
Right.
fixing up the living quarters for the pilots on the medevac.
Yes, yes.
Fixing the roof on that big loan.
And I think that their thought process behind that is that sure, they can fix up the pilot lounge and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, that doesn't have revenue
Yeah.
like a hangar will have revenue. And it's just that you got to look at that and say, okay, what is the repay on this? And then when you look at it, and that's why, from my original discussions when I had with them is to talk to them about, this, to be able to make one good investment, to give them some dollars back when they get that money back from that grant that they're going to get, that we do the match, they get that repaid. It would put them in a position to be able to, now they'll have income off of that hangar. In addition to that cash coming back, they would be able to do a lot of those other improvements. So for me, it's difficult because I've seen so much waste of money. We just approved $36,000 for a guy to go and draw up a 1,200 square foot space. $36,000. Like, how do you justify that? The average garage is probably bigger than that, but yet we're okay doing that. I'm not. I wouldn't do it in my business. I wouldn't do it in my home, and I'd surely have a problem doing it with taxpayers' dollars. And I wouldn't be there pushing this airport if I didn't see the financial, opportunity at the end. You got to look. You can't look at it as today. You got to look at it as, the down the road effect. What we do, we should be planning not for today, but for the people down the road. So. Does that answer your question?
I have another one now. So you mentioned your business, and then you talked about talking with other business owners. So
Yeah.
how does your business relate to the conversation?
My business is in Middlefield, so I have a lot of conversations with other local businesses in that area. And I've heard multiple times of that airport being utilized for people to come in to support a lot of the factories that are in that area, where they come down, they meet with the people at the factory, they go for tours in the factory, they try to utilize that for commerce, and it's a big help to be able to have that, where they're 5 minutes away from their factory to pick those people up and bring them to their location to do business. And ultimately, what does that mean? Jobs for our county.
Do you have experience of that with your business?
No, I'm in retail, so no, it doesn't, and I shouldn't say that. I have had people with companies that have flown in to meet with me. But not to the level of what manufacturing does.
Next question.
Yes, Diane Jones, Auburn Township. Mr. Spitaleri, you have indicated multiple times that you have no personal interest or reason to benefit from your research into the airport. However, research has indicated to me that you may still own a helicopter that is listed for sale at this airport. And if that is so, how do you not benefit financially from
My helicopter is not based at that, at the airport.
Then the records that are still online must not be current. So I guess the question is, do you have a hangar, or do you have?
At my house, I do.
space? Do you?
I don't have a hangar at the airport, no.
But you once did.
No, never. Never.
There's an indication online. You could check it out. That
I've never had a hangar at the airport.
hangar space.
Correct.
Okay. Well, the information online,
Like, where would you see this online? Because I'd like to see that.
the indication is bid airlines or aircraft, and it's registered to you.
At Geauga County Airport?
It's registered to you as owner of multiple businesses. Just for your information.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
find it, I'd like to see it because,
Some people, is it not true that some individuals might view that there is a potential conflict of interest with your
I don't-
application in this airport?
I don't see that there's any conflict. I've never had a hangar at the airport.
Oh, well, you should check your business listings.
Well,
Under.
I would like to see that too, because I can tell you
Just my comment.
that I've never had a
I'm a
hangar there.
citizen, and we do research at home. So just so you know, thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments?
Just get it resolved.
We're working on it.
Motion to adjourn.
Get in touch with the prosecutor. He's dropped the ball on this one badly.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.